The New England Patriots are coming off one of the most embarrassing losses to a start of a preseason that I have almost ever seen. And I don't want to sit here and overreact because although it was a terrible game offensively for the New England Patriots, there was a lot of good things to take away that not only left me surprised, but left me very intrigued, for the future of this team, not only for this season, but for the seasons to come. Bill Belichick, the coaching staff, were all very pleased with a certain amount of guys, certain guys on this team really passed the eye test, really played good, and it just makes the future a little bit more intriguing because there are a couple of guys that Bill Belichick drafted that I think could have a great future here in New England, and we're going to talk about all of this in the video. Now, I apologize, I can't show the actual highlights from last night's game because it will get copyrighted, so I am showing, some training camp highlights from the last couple of weeks here, but in this video, I'm going to break down a couple of guys who really impressed me, a couple of guys who maybe didn't impress me, and what to look forward to next going into the rest of the preseason. However, before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a huge favor by smashing that like button. Let's see if we can get this video out to more Patriots fans, but also subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be covering the entirety of the offseason, which includes free agency, trades, training camp, preseason, regular season, guys, and I will be live streaming games. Last night, we were live for this game, watching some of these young Patriots players, watching some of the young Texans players live. So if you guys want to watch that with me throughout the season, make sure you guys join the family. I most likely will be live almost every single Patriots game for the rest of the year. So with that being said, join the family. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. Now, the Patriots are coming off a loss versus the Texans in the preseason opener, 20-9. Now, 29 doesn't seem that bad, but guys, trust me, it was bad. Now, the game opened up with C.J. Stroud on a drive where he ended up throwing a pick to Jalen Mills, and Jalen Mills was one of the biggest takeaways in my opinion. He had a nice little pick that set us up with a field goal, which was the only time we scored within the first 55 minutes of the game, which was insane. We didn't score again until the last 2 minutes of the game, so that was very disappointing. But Jalen Mills came up with the pick early on C.J. Stroud, who only played a couple of drives and then was done for the day. But Jalen Mills also made another big play when he got into the backfield and stopped the running back for a loss, or maybe, to the line of scrimmage. But Jalen Mills came out on fire. He looked like a guy who was really starting to compete for a job. And when you look at the, the DB group here for the Patriots, you have Adrian Phillips, you have Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers, Jalen Mills. There's a lot of talent in this safety group. Jalen Mills is a guy who's really trying to earn himself a starting job because obviously Adrian Colbert being out proved to me and proved to all of us that, he might be deemed as the starting safety as of now, but that is subject to change. Jalen Mills had a great day. Hopefully he can continue to do that over the next couple of days. Now, offensively, let's just start with offensively, guys. The Patriots did not look great. Like I said, we got a pick, set up a field goal. Bailey Zappi was 12 of 14 for 79 yards, but guys, it seems good, right? But man, was he not great at all. It was a lot of dump downs. He did have one beautiful pass to Tyquan Thornton, and I think Tyquan Thornton had a very solid game. He had a great catch for about 27 yards maybe, and then he had another 4-yard catch, and then that was pretty much it for him. Didn't see too many other targets. Bailey Zappi was very underwhelming. To complete 12 passes and only go for 79 yards is relatively bad. The offense did not do anything with him on the field. And if it wasn't for that interception that put us in the red zone, or not the red zone, but pretty close to the red zone, I don't know if Bailey Zappi would have led us to any points this game. So that is definitely something I took away. Trace McSorley came in, didn't do too much. The offensive line struggled, got sacked. Kevin Harris got tackled in the backfield for a loss of a couple. So offensive line looked really bad throughout yesterday's game versus the Texans. But then there was a spark, and Malik Cunningham came in the game, and everything changed. I don't know what it was, but everything changed. He was finding running room. He was, just creating a different dynamic on the offense, which we haven't seen before, where, teams were thinking twice about, during the read option, they were thinking twice about going after the running back. They were kind of, waiting on him to see what he was going to do, which opened up lanes for a guy like Pierce Strong to get some running room to go. So not only did he play good, but he also helped the offensive line kind of open up some holes for the running back. So that was very intriguing to see. If I'm being honest, I think Malik Cunningham was amazing, even though he only threw 3 passes for 19 yards or whatnot. He also ran the ball, was our leading rusher, which is kind of crazy to say, but led our team in rushing yards. 5 carries, 34 yards, 6.8 average, with 1 touchdown as well. And this touchdown run was absolutely, amazing. I mean, he was running. It was like kind of like he decided to scramble because there was nobody open. And by the way, he threw an absolute dot to Trey Nixon, dropped it. Should have been a touchdown. Got to catch that. But on his rushing touchdown, I mean, he mixed 2 guys and then put his shoulder down and went in for a touchdown. So Malik Cunningham was primarily the only guy in offense that I'm coming away with and saying he was the only good player I saw on the offense. Maybe Tyquan Thornton didn't get too much of a sample size, but Malik Cunningham is the biggest takeaway from this game. And guys, we didn't see any Demario Douglas. I don't know if that means he's in the doghouse. I don't know if that means that we see him as one of the best wide receivers in the room already. I just don't believe that Bill Belichick would go out and be like, all right, Demario Douglas, you're not going to play at all at wide receiver because he's a rookie. He hasn't played at all versus NFL talent. If that was really the reason, I don't agree. I don't agree because yes, he can look good in practice, but showcase him versus other NFL talent. Let's see if he can really do it in a game when the pressure's on the line, when lights are shining, when there's fans in the crowd. Like, I want to see him do it then, and we didn't get to see that at all. I don't think he took 1 snap offensively, so that was definitely something I took note of. Defensively, there was a lot of guys that stood out to me. A lot of guys actually. First of all, Christian Gonzalez forced a fumble. Didn't look like a. I don't know. We didn't see too many guys target him throughout the game, and he didn't really play too much. But when he was out there, he looked pretty good. He forced a fumble, had a nice little peanut punch in game 1. I think I liked what I saw from Christian Gonzalez. And then you have Keion White, who looked phenomenal. Keion White looked amazing. He was. I don't think he had a sack, but he had a chase down from behind. It was like 3rd and like 5 or something, and I believe C.J. Stroud began to scramble. And Keion White came from behind and stopped him from getting the first down. I thought that was, absolutely amazing. I think that really, really helped. And I think that's going to help him really cement himself a role on this team going forward. So I definitely liked what I saw from Keion White. He had 2 tackles, 1 assisted tackle. That's all good. We also had the pick from Jalen Mills. He looked good. Who else did I see? We had Isaiah Bolden. Looked like he could be an electric return man. I'm not too sure how that's going to work or if he's going to win that job. But Isaiah Bolden looked like someone who could actually get playing time both on defense but more on special teams as well. So I'm excited to see him. And then Daniel Ukuwale came out with the sack right away. Looked amazing. Then came out again. And we would have had a sack for Anthony Simons, but he ended up getting a roughing the passer call. Definitely unneeded play by Daniel Ukuwale. But either way, I think Daniel Ukuwale ends this game with a W performance. I think he is definitely one of the winners here. But when I look down this roster and see all of the winners, in my opinion, I'm going to put Anthony Simons in there. I think he had a good game. He would have had a sack if it wasn't for that roughing the passer call. I got Daniel Ukuwale, Isaiah Bolden, Keion White, and Christian Gonzalez. Now the good thing, and Jalen Mills, Tyquan Thornton, Malik Cunningham. Now the good thing about those 8 players that I really, really like is the fact that they're all really young. Anthony Jennings only been in the league a couple years. Isaiah Bolden, a rookie. Keion White, a rookie. Christian Gonzalez, a rookie. Jalen Mills, he's trying to win a job, so that's good. Malik Cunningham, a rookie. Tyquan Thornton, a second-year player. So I think the guys who really look good today, it's really going to help their stock going forward and maybe even help them get themselves a role on this team. I wish we got to see more Demario Douglas, but overall, I think it was a solid game, a solid performance from some of the young guys. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction, and we can't really judge the offense until we see Mac Jones and the starting lineup out there. I need to see that before I make really any judgment, because I'm not going to lie, last night's game was terrible. The offense looked absolutely horrendous, but again, I want to see how the veterans all play together. The guys like Juju and Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne and Trent Brown and all those guys, Mac Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. I want to see those guys all come together because that would be a completely different offense, and I do understand that. So, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, turn on post notifications so you're notified not only every time we go live for a game, but every time we post a video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Today's video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.